Alright, so welcome to another segment I like to call Hero-Villain Mashup. Kind of like the what would they think segment, but a little different. This is where I take one hero and one villain and kind of and do a mashup of what was if this villain was in this hero's rogues gallery. And today, I got a very interesting one for you. So, what would it be like if Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls was a villain for Hellboy? What if Hellboy and Cipher were enemies? What would it be like? What would the kind of scenarios be like, and what would they kind of try to combat one another with? Now, Cipher is, of course, a dream demon, and has Hellboy faced those? Yeah, he's faced them once or twice. He's not a big fan of of illusionary type demons. He usually kind of likes it better when he has to fight his opponent head on. He prefers, someone, because he kind of looks at, people, demons or creatures that use that are, he kind of doesn't like it because it's them being cowardice. He prefers, a head-on fight. So, that would be, the first strike against Cipher for Hellboy. Hellboy would try shooting at Bill, and Bill would just teleport and just create, like, an illusion around Hellboy and be like, son of a bitch. Among other things with this is that I think Bill would know who Hellboy is. I think he would, like, taunt him, calling him Anonung Rama, Hellboy's real name. I think he would kind of constantly tease Hellboy and say, like, oh, look, the guy, the little demon who wants to be a human. It's funny of how stupid you are. So I think that would be a lot in that of this rivalry, is that Cipher would just constantly be taunting and teasing Hellboy, and even going into Hellboy's head and digging up some old memories. And Hellboy, Hellboy's mind, I would imagine, is not a safe place to be. I would imagine that, Hellboy would not really appreciate having all of his little past memories, and even some stuff dug up about his who his real father is, and stuff about his mother that he never really knew about. A lot of that stuff would really kind of just dig under his skin, and Cipher would just be loving every second of just psychologically tormenting him. Let's also not forget that Cipher himself is actually is also apparently omnipotent. Well, nearly omnipotent. He's kind of like Q, so he can easily just warp the reality around Hellboy, and and Hellboy thinks he has a perfect shot on Cipher. Oh, reality changed. Oh, reality changed. But here's the thing: Cipher would probably be so arrogant while in his little bouts with Hellboy that he would seem to forget that Hellboy is kind of an experienced spellcaster himself. So I think he would pull something out, ancient tome or something, and kind of nullify, or at least paralyze, or at least slow down some of Cipher's powers. I think that would be, one course of action that that he would take against, Cipher. Whereas Cipher would be a little more, he clearly is going to get pissed off, and as we've all seen Cipher get pissed, we've all seen Cipher get pissy. So this would be something, him getting pissed off at a guy who he would more or less, like I said before, mock, and, he would just constantly mock Hellboy and could kind of consider him below, Hellboy, this big dumb red ape. I think he would even call him that, to be honest. I think he would call Hellboy a big, the big red ape. And see, like, look, you're not even, I've run into a couple of kids in Oregon that are smarter than you. So, yeah, why am I wasting my time with you? So, I think that would be another thing. But I think Cipher would seem to also forget that Hellboy, despite his appearance, is actually pretty smart. I think he would literally understand that, yeah, he is, Hellboy is actually pretty smart in his own right. And I think if this was a game of wits, I think Hellboy at first would be losing, because even though I said Hellboy's smart, he's not exactly like Einstein level smart. But I think once he figures out Cipher's games, that's when he would, turn all of Cipher's little tricks and jokes and, all of his reality warping, even inside his own head. Hellboy would kind of turn that all around and use it against Cipher, to which Cipher would not be happy about at all. And that would be the thing. That would be Cipher's downfall if he was a villain to, one of Hellboy's villains. He would constantly underestimate Hellboy. He would, like I said earlier, he would just think he's this big dumb red ape who's not even worth his time. So that's where I think Hellboy would get the upper hand on Cipher, and then probably put a bullet through his whatever Cipher has internally, whatever he has there. So that's how I think this kind of rivalry would go out if Bill Cipher was one of Hellboy's villains. But you guys tell me, what do you guys think it would be like if Hellboy and Bill Cipher were enemies? How do you think the scenarios would play out, and how do you think they would try to get the better of one another? Really curious to know what you guys think of this one, and yeah, once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.